Well, Tony, obviously games coming thick and fast. I think a lot of the fans are quite philosophical about the late equaliser. Is it good to have a game so quickly just to get it out of the players' heads?
I'd prefer not to have a game so quickly, but I think if we can go and get 3 points, I think player welfare is on my mind at the moment, and some of them have played 6 games in a really short period. We've had 3 weeks on the bounce of midweek games. It's literally, it feels like you're on the hamster wheel, really. I was saying to the staff today, what day is it today? It's the games are so thick and fast. It's and we'll be getting back on the bus again tomorrow to go and play the next one, and then we'll be back on the bus again to go and play on Saturday. It's so the next game's coming. We have to deal with it. I'm not moaning about it. I just feel as if if we could have had a week in between just to take a big gulp of air, and it would have been good. But we've got one of them coming after Saturday, I think. So let's look forward to this game, and another opportunity for us to get 3 points, and we'll go there and be as positive as we can.
It's an incredible learning curve some of these young players are on, isn't it?
Yeah, as football staff, we talk about the learning curve, that we shouldn't get too upset when we make mistakes that cost us points. We're on a journey, I think, and I've tried to say that. It's I do feel as if it's a real steep curve for them. I think somebody said to me today that they went to Rotherham last year and got beat 5-1, did they? I mean, somebody only told me that this morning. I'm thinking, let's see how the game goes, but we'll go to Rotherham and we'll hope to be on top and try to dominate, and hopefully it shows that the club is moved on. And yet, Rotherham beat Blackburn 4-0 recently, so they're capable of these good results. So yeah, listen, it is a learning curve. Let's not say it's not, but for us, it's a different type of games. In this league, the curve for me is the different types of opposition we play every week. Really, some are pretty direct, some are really good football teams, some are real high energy, like the team on Saturday was a total transition team that if you left too much space, you almost looking at their stats. All the games they've won this season, they've had less possession than the other team to win games, and that's telling you that they don't really bother about the ball, but when they win it and turn it over, they all burst forward really fast and they score. And so you have to be mindful of every type of team. We're playing against a team who have, the data's telling me, have played the most long balls in the league this year coming up, and so we're going to have to defend the directness of Rotherham, the long throws and the balls in the box, and yet they've got some all right footballers. They're dangerous footballers, and as I say, to beat Blackburn Rovers 4-0 is an amazing result for them. So we have to be mindful of things like that, but go there and with the confidence and belief that we're on a decent run. Away from home we've been difficult to play against, so let's see if we can get a right result.
And of the 3 promoted sides, you've been the most successful. Is there still a sense, and do you think many neutrals will still think you're punching slightly above your weight? I'm not sure. I don't listen to what neutrals think. I don't listen or see it. I don't search it out. Just talking to our head of media here, who's showing me some stuff that I don't generally like to see anything that you guys write or report. To be honest, it's totally irrelevant to me. I respect you for the job you do, and listen, since I've been here, you have all been very respectful. And but I understand. I've been in football a long time. We lose 3 on the bounce, 4 on the bounce, 5 on the bounce. The questions aren't so nice. I understand the profession we're in. I don't know whether people think we're punching above our weight. I'm just happy with the players that we've got, that they're all working really hard and they're trying to utilise their talent, and our job as coaches is to try and put them in the right positions on the pitch to hurt the opposition with the talents they've got, and for them to learn why they have to stand there, or we have to play in this position, or we have to move the ball this way, and they're embracing it and enjoying it, I think, and we just have to try and keep that going. And sometimes it's difficult. Every 3 days it's difficult to get the levels of intensity if we want to play like this to where they need to be, and concentration. Otherwise it becomes a bit, like I said, on a hamster wheel. It's just another game. You get your kit on, you put your boots on, you go out and play again. we have to, every game should be an event, and we know we have supporters who travel a long way to watch us and spend a lot of money and fill the stadium just about. At home we need to make sure our concentration and our adrenaline levels, and we get the balance between work and rest right, so that on match day we can perform.
When you're looking at the young players, there's a lot of enthusiasm there, but you're probably having to look very carefully to see which ones are just showing signs of not burnout, but sort of having perhaps played a little bit too much, and when to rotate. It must be quite a tough one at the moment, I would have thought.
Well, we're trying to do that. We've seen in the last few games we've made a couple of changes. I think 3 changes in each game. It's and there'll probably be another 3 changes tomorrow, and then at the weekend. But I think after that we've got a few weeks of Saturday to Saturday where we can recover and plan and prepare a game properly, really. But this moment we're not trying to tinker too much with our team. We're focusing on us and not too much on the opposition, because it's really difficult to fully prepare for the opposition with one day's preparation. So these are the things at football clubs. The analysts are working night and day and work crazy hours. Analysts, I hear stories of 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning. They're still on their laptops. It's still trying to get the meeting prepared for the next day for the players, because they've just finished the post-match of one game, and then they're trying to do the preparation for the next one. And the wheels behind what's the shiny car that's driving off are working really, really hard behind the scenes, really. Everybody, the analysts, the physio department, the coaching staff, everybody's working extremely hard to try and keep the players in the right state of mind and fit and ready to go.
And when you come so close to extending a winning run, is part of it getting the players' psychology right, just to can't be easy to forget the disappointment before you go into a new challenge?
Yeah, I think you get used to it. I think you have to, isn't it? For every footballer has felt the frustration and the disappointment of a late goal against that cost you points, whether it cost you the game or whether it cost you 2 points as it did on Saturday rather than all 3 points. So I think they're fine. They're resilient. You've got to be. I talked to them at this moment about being relentless. We have to relentlessly push on. We have to keep doing the same things. We have to look forward. We have to run forward. We have to pass forward. We have to work hard. We have to stick together. And they're all bringing that every game. And that's all I ask of them, really. And I think our supporters will accept, a negative result as long as they see a team that is fighting and working and chasing and running and trying to do the right things, and because they know their supporters aren't, I was going to say aren't silly. They've watched this team for a long time, a lot of them, and they see different ways of playing. I hope they try and see a team that are trying to play with the ball and trying to be positive. And again, I do go back, and it's not meant to be a negative, but we're probably a couple of front players away from being a really, really good squad of footballers, and but that's okay. We had no issues through the, Ross's injury was a big blow to us a few days before the window shut, and we've been through that. But
not because of what you just said, is if you like riding on Joe and his sort of learning curve, but you've been quite encouraged by a lot of what you've seen.
Listen, he had an amazing part to play in Clark's goal at the weekend. He got involved twice in the build-up. The build-up started in our own defensive third near the corner flag, and we built out through a throw-in. There was 3 or 4 interactions, and Joe was involved in a couple of them, and then he stuck Jack Clark away, cut inside and rifled it in the top corner. So it's not just judging him on goals. He's worked extraordinarily hard for the team. It'd be great for the kid if he could notch a goal or 2 as he goes along for his own belief and confidence, because it's been a while, I think, since he's ever played as much football. And I'm consciously thinking, right, 70 minutes is gone. You wouldn't really want to take your striker off, but he's got another game. He has to start again on Tuesday, and then he has to start again on Saturday, because we haven't got any options. And so I'm trying to manage his time, but trying to win the games as well at the same time. And but yeah, we're really pleased with him. He's working his socks off, and I know the goals will come if we keep trying to create the chances.
Finally, Tony, any fresh knocks or anybody sort of knocking on the door saying I'm out of the treatment room at last?
Today, Niall Huggins trained today, but he's going to be a week or 2, I think, just to train regularly with the 21s or with us, depending on when we are training and what games we've got. Gucci's first day with his boots on the grass today. I don't know whether that's still probably another week or 10 days away, I'm not sure, but it was good to see him with his boots on with the physio department. But obviously everybody else, Ross Stewart, Corey Evans, Elliot Embleton, they're all long term. And but yeah, okay, Knox, yeah, there was one or two didn't train today, but I think they'll be all right. We'll assess them tomorrow. We'll do a fitness test before they get on the bus. But basically, if there's a doubt, there's no need to push them in training really, and they're telling us that they think it's going to be okay, but they need to put their boots on before they get on the bus and go. There's one or two players. I don't think it's right for me to talk who they are. You'll see when the team gets selected whether they make it or not, and who the changes are, who's on the bench, who's not on the bench. And but I hope to go to Rotherham and give them a good game. Thank you.
Scott. Bennett, is he all right? Because he seemed to.
He had a kick on his calf at the weekend. He didn't make the starting squad really, or the squad. He's back training today, so yeah, he'll be involved in some capacity.
I mean, obviously it's a there's a real balance for you to try and strike when you're making changes. In general, the changes that we've seen so far tended to be midfield and top end of the pitch rather than the defence.
Sorry, apologies. Right? It's a fine, isn't it?
That's a fine.
That is shocking. That.
You'll have to bring the sweets next time.
We were talking about this at the end of the last press conference,
mate.
weren't we? Fines.
Shocking. Well, do self-police very well, our club. Go on. Go on.
Where was I? No, I was just going to say, is that because defenders don't necessarily have to cover the ground and so can go choose a Saturday, or is it that you're just more reluctant to change the defence because it's functioned really well as a unit, and so is it harder to change a defence?
Oh, listen, a bit of both. I think there will be changes tomorrow night in the defence. It shouldn't be telling you that, but they will be. So listen, they are. I see them after the game, and they can't budge. They are absolutely, exhausted, and the effort they put into football matches, and then you ask them to go and train for a couple of days after, and then go and do it again. They are going to not drop off, because they know every footballer. I always tell the story of, like, when you're doing doggies as a footballer, the gaffer's come on, do the doggy. They're really, really hard, and then he says, the last one, and everybody does the fastest doggy of the day, the last one, because they know it's the last one. So what they do know is that they can go again. They think they can't, and they can, and they have to get that mindset that they can push themselves beyond what they feel is maximum. And I'm sure we could keep doing that, but I feel as if we've got a squad of players that we can cover for a few players, and hopefully it doesn't weaken us, other than the consistency aspect, particularly of defenders, and understanding that he's going to go for that ball, or he's going to leave that, or he's a bit hesitant about that type of passing behind him, or he's going to come over and wallop that, so I better get out the way. You get to know each other's strengths and weaknesses, I think, and then when you start tinkering with it, there's a bit of uncertainty what somebody's going to do when that ball goes into that area. Is he going to attack it, or is he going to leave it and hope that you get it? So that's why there's a bit of resistance against changing the back line if it's doing well.
And when you talk about their players who can play in a few different roles, Abdullah Barr, we've kind of seen him as a 6, seen him as an 8, seen him as a 10.
Yeah.
Probably could play wide if you needed him to. I mean, that versatility is clearly an asset, but where do you kind of see him ideally? What kind of where do you think his main strengths are?
I think he's an attacking player. I think he wants to dribble with the ball, really. I think he wants to carry the ball. I think he's the way we are playing at the moment, he's really competing with Ahmed to try and play in the team, and that's unfortunately for him, Ahmed's a pretty special player, and I think Abdullah wants to play, and we've had some conversations, but we're trying to win some football matches as well as develop players, and that's why generally I make substitutions, because these young players need to feel the atmosphere, they need to feel it, and then if we keep collapsing as we make substitutions and we lose loads of goals, then I'll be rethinking it. But at the moment that's not the case. These lads come on and do a pretty solid job and work hard, and then I have to get the confidence and belief to start them in games sometimes.
if they get dropped back out, like Abdullah played against QPR, we won 3-0 and he didn't play the next game. It's, for me, I'm dropping them in, taking them out, looking at the games I feel they can play in, and so it'll benefit and develop them, but won't hurt the team. And sometimes it's very difficult to have the conversation with Ahmed or for Patrick or for Jack to say, listen, I'm playing this young kid today, I'm taking you out, and especially if they're confident and they're doing well and they want to keep going. It's and the balance for me is the club getting results, positive, but also developing young players and giving them a chance to grow into first team footballers. So, but we, are we willing to sacrifice points for substitutions? It's I've got to try and get that balance right, I think, where we can still win and we put the subs on. Because some games, if you think back as far as Watford away, we put all them young boys on and Jewison scored the equaliser, came on and was full of energy and drive. And so, yeah, but let's keep going and see. And I fully understand sometimes you make substitutions and the result goes against you. You leave yourself open and vulnerable. But yeah, at this moment, let's keep going with them.
And last one from me. Rotherham was your first game, wasn't it? Right at the end of August. I mean, I just had a look at the team. Actually, if Corey and Ross had been fit, the team that played that day really could arguably, apart from Ellis, have pretty much played now. So, personnel-wise, while there have been changes, the core's kind of still there. But how far along the development path, if you like, of where you want to get to, do you feel you've come since then? How much kind of improvement has there been? I know it was very early then, obviously, you were only just getting to know them probably.
Yeah, we were playing three at the back that night. I think Jack Clark was playing left wing back. Listen, we were solid enough. We had a clean sheet. We Ross scored 2. We won 3-0. It's fine. It's for me, it's just trying to develop all the different ways of playing, and we've tried that over recent weeks. We've QPR. We went away and changed the system up. Completely, really, and. They have to be able to play different ways, and I would never say that we're not going back to a back three because this becomes vulnerable. It's I've got no problem. I think we've got the players to play a back three. I just think you can have more attacking players on the pitch if you play a back four the way we're trying to play at the moment, and I think with the players we've got, it suits them. If you're playing Robertson, Clark wide, it suits their game. I think Ahmed, if you're giving him space to play between lines, it suits him as well. So as Pritchard, it suits his game between lines. Dan Neil, he gives him lots of targets to pass forward and play forward passes. Same with Michu, and so just trying to put round pegs in round holes and keep. When we do change things and tinker with things, give them a reason why and what the logic is. So some team might play really high and play a really high press, and so we're going to play a little bit longer today. We're going to use the space behind them or whatever. It's like that's the learning process of football. Really, you can't just do one thing all the time, and you have to evolve as a team. And we have started evolving. We've the positioning of some of the players in certain games has been different. We played train centre mid at some games as the games unfolded, and rolled into a back three from a back four. It just allows you to create overloads in certain parts of the pitch, and but that's not every game. You have to look at each match and decide which way you're going to play. And the good thing for me is that the players take it on board and want to learn, develop, and listen.
Have there been surprises for you along the way, or if you think back to, because obviously what you didn't do was come into a club that had just sacked its manager and everything was calamitous, and you had to firefight in the word go. That obviously, because of the way Alex left now, that wasn't really the case here. So to a certain extent, you probably had the chance of a little bit more stability than maybe if that had been the case. But have you been surprised by, clearly there'll have been real peaks and troughs, but from the outside it does seem like it's been fairly stable this season?
Yeah, I came in, as I do to every club. If you go in mid-season, it's not ideal to go in mid-season in a football club, and I know it was still pretty early in the season, but the team was the team, and they'd had some okay results, some okay performances. I think I'd watched the Norwich game on the TV the week before. I was actually at the Borough match watching Middlesbrough, and I was watching Norwich pre-game because it was an early kick-off, I think, and thought how well they played on the front foot and how aggressive they were, and so Anderson, I've said publicly, I can't believe that like Sir Patrick Roberts was last year playing in League One. It's we had some very talented players. It's just trying to, as I said, give them the belief and confidence to play, and put them in the positions where I feel that they can hurt the opposition the best, I think. So that's all I've done. I came in and had a good look really for a month. Probably didn't take full grip of the reins early on. Let the lads, let Mike Dodds and Mike Proctor keep doing the things they were doing, watching what the lads did, and we sort of watched really and had a look, and then bit by bit we've tinkered and changed and moved things around a little bit, and listen, we're just all a bit frustrated with the very key injuries we've got, and yet we have to get on with it and see where this season takes us.